Hello, my name is Mark Maxwell. I am a doctoral student at Alliant International University in Marriage and Family Therapy. I've just recently returned from Mexico, in Mexico City, our campus there, where we're doing an immersion program and studying liberation psychology. This is part of a dialogue, an open dialogue, about the writings of Ignacio Martin Baru. What does it mean to do a revision from the bottom up? Our most basic assumptions of psychology. What does a praxis of the people look like? These concepts that we studied, that we talked about, the hard thing is that they are concepts, and how do we make them into practicalities? How do we make them into a part of our practice, part of our profession? In thinking about this, I was thinking about maybe the setting where I would be in San Diego and I'd be working with Mexican clients. Perhaps they're Mexican clients who have recently crossed over, that are working in the United States. Perhaps it's a person who's left their family, left their home, and doesn't speak the language very well. Is very concerned about his welfare, his future, and his family back at home, about making money and survival. Or perhaps it's somebody who's not working in Mexico, somebody whose wife is working all the time and he's at home. And he's taking care of the kids, which is very different from the culture that he comes from. And perhaps he's developing a drinking problem. There's issues that we can create and we can look at, and being able to diagnose this person as having depression or anxiety, prescribing them medication, or helping them to cope and figure out how to get out of that depression or manage that anxiety, some things like that. That we might be predisposed to in a regular counseling setting, especially an individual counseling session. They just don't quite cut it. They don't quite wrap around the real issues. For myself and how I look at it, a revision starts with looking beyond yourself and within yourself. To look beyond yourself is to look at your practice, your profession, and the systems that we're a part of in those arenas. It's to kind of get out of the office, if you will, get out of your patterns, take a step outside and look at yourself. Part of the immersion program, that was the blessing in the immersion program, was you were able to look at your profession and your culture and the systems that you exist in. You get to step out of that and look at it from different eyes, from a different place. And it helps you look and talk critically about it. It's how it affects other people and how does it work in relation with others. It's not so much about good and bad. I think that's something that we need to, when we try to be critical, is get away from, is making things wrong or good or bad, but just looking how they affect other things and what their relationships are and what the consequences of those relationships are, things like that. But we need to do that. We need to step out and beyond ourselves and look at what we're a part of, and how we're working with others and in relation with others, and how our profession does that, and the various models that we operate from, and think about that in the larger context of the larger systems that we're a part of. Look at the bigger picture. What is going on with our Mexican-American clients or our Mexican immigrants that I was talking about earlier? The bigger picture is that there are issues beyond our office, beyond prescription, beyond a basic treatment plan that creates their problems, their issues, their struggles, and there are many, many more like them. And if we are really called to help people, how do we change in that area? How do we promote change? How do we help our client to work within that system that has them where they're at? How can we be a part of promoting change? The hard part is that if you really want to help people, and you look at yourself, and you look at the system, and you look at your clients, and you look at all these things in a critical way, it may demand something from you. It may demand action. It may demand something beyond just what we're used to in basic therapy. And are we ready? Are we able? Are we willing to do those things? We can see the humanity in our clients when they sit across from us. We're trained to do so. We're trained to empathize and to listen and to connect with them and want to help them and desire change for them and all those things that humanizes them. We humanize with them easily. But can we do that at the same time that they are a part of something or under something that dehumanizes them? Is it enough just to humanize them in the therapy room when they are being dehumanized in a larger context, a larger system, and perhaps even a system that we are a part of? What do we do about that? I think when you come into those situations, it poses hard questions and demands that we step back and look critically. And that's part of the other half of the equation is looking inward. What do I want to be about as a therapist, as an educator, as a professional, as a citizen of the United States? What do I want to be about? What do I stand for? How do I want to help people? You have to ask these questions. What will I do? What will I do in these situations when I see these things that dehumanize or disenfranchise or create issues and problems with the clients that come to me? How far will I go in trying to promote that change? How much is going to be asked of me? They're hard questions. They're easy ones to brush aside when things get difficult. I'm not sure how this all plays out in our profession. That's why we have to talk about it. That's why we're doing this dialogue. These difficult questions, these difficult things that are required of us come up. Where do you start? And I think you start with dialogue. After you look at yourself, after you look at your profession, you work with others. We have to work together. We have to ask these hard questions. We have to discuss it. I think one great place to start, though, is to start by looking at where you are privileged. Where do you have power? If you're in a place like me, as an educated person, as a professional, the list is going to be long. And that means that I have the ability to do something, that I have the ability to promote change. But how do I do that? And what is working with the people, or the praxis for the people, what does that mean? Well, it means that there's a lot that I can learn from my Mexican clients and their community, and working with them, talking about what the issues are and the problems are. I think that the real key, the honest key in this exploration is in dialogue. Dialogue with each other as professionals, dialogue with others in exploration about ourselves, and dialogue with those in our community, in the systems that we're a part of, like our Mexican-American friends or the Mexican clients that we were describing earlier. Dialogue with them, and in humility, wanting to learn, putting a lot of ourselves aside and wanting to learn earnestly from those who come from different places than us and understand something differently than we do. Not trying to put them in a box that we've created or a system that we've created, but really trying to understand where they're coming from, their conceptualization of the problem, their conceptualization of the solution, rather than trying to fit them nicely and neatly into something that makes sense to us. Dialogue is the only way to really do that. It's in dialogue and humility. We have a lot of concepts that we hold hard to, and there's a lot of good in a lot of those concepts, in a lot of those systems, but sometimes they're not all good, and sometimes they create issues and problems that we see on a day-to-day basis. But are we really dealing with those things, what the real problems are with those clients? And if we really want to help people, how do we do that? We do it by dialogue and humility with others, and seeking a solution, and looking at ourselves and asking the tough questions about ourselves, asking what we're prepared to do beyond ourselves, beyond the office.